Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another Reading Reddit Stories, okay? Now, these Reddit stories are voice acting themed because that's kind of what I do and what I can give an opinion on. So let's jump right into it, shall we? So, this first one here from our voice acting. Do you ever spiral after sessions? You know, like kind of second doubting yourself? Because, yeah, I just finished a session for a video game that, after getting cast, I found out is actually a bit huge. And honestly, that made me so much more anxious. Plus, the audition had mostly consisted of battle barks and very loud lines. And then it turned out there were like 50 plus lines to go over that were expositional and conversational, and I was given them pretty much hours beforehand. The session was good, and we mostly just went over each line twice or thrice. We finished the entire script. Most notes I got were smaller pronunciation things or pacing in yet. I'm stuck in this loop of thinking I did a horrible job, sounded fake, or too whatever. I've done live directed sessions before, but I don't think I've ever experienced this post-imposter syndrome so heavily. You guys have any tips or experienced something like this? Thanks! Boy, oh boy, do I got commentary for you, my friend. Okay. First of all, be proud of yourself and congratulate yourself for booking something so big. And the biggest piece of advice I can give to you is very simply, if you ever have these anxious thoughts of like, I'm not good enough, I did so bad, whatever, remember you got cast for a reason. That doesn't mean that you can just tell all the thoughts in your head to disappear, right? Anxiety is what it is. It's gonna yell at you and scream at you no matter what you do. So the best thing you can do is try and give it other things that are like against it, right? And fighting against it. So your first and foremost is you got cast for a reason, right? Once the session is done, you may not have felt confident in some of those things, right? But really think about what you wrote here. You said the session was good. We finished the whole scripts. I only got notes on pronunciation or pacing or little things like that. If those are your own words, listen to your own words, my friend. Yeah, your anxiety might be screaming, oh my God, you're so fucking stupid and you did such a bad job. But you are consciously telling us that actually the session went okay. Tell that to your anxiety. Breathe and remember that you did well first and foremost. Now, imposter syndrome, for those who don't know, is essentially when you are skilled at your craft or you have experience in what you do and you still feel like you're faking it. You're putting on an act, you're not good enough, and at any moment somebody's gonna realize that you're not good enough and your whole like fake persona is going to be revealed. When you can identify that these are imposter syndrome feelings, remember that it's your brain yelling at you and you are qualified, okay? Now, for the whole thing of like post-imposter syndrome of after a session is done, there are absolutely times when I have done a job or been in a booth and I've, recorded something and we're all smiles, we're laughing about it, we're giving our performance, and then the second we get off the call, we're like, oh my God, I know that feeling. And it sounds like for you, what happened was you went into this recording thinking there's gonna be a little bit of barks, a little bit of effort noises, I'll get them done, we'll have a chill time. And then somebody said something about like, oh no, there's all this stuff we gotta do. And you weren't prepared for that, right? You weren't mentally prepared. And all of a sudden it's like, oh shit. And that's what sparked all of this. You have to trust, if not in yourself, in the other creatives that are in the project. You have to trust in your director. You have to trust in your writer. You have to trust that they are not imposters and they're doing their job correctly. And use that knowledge to reassure you. It's the best advice I can give you. Let's read some of the comments. So one commenter says, directors are going to direct. That's what they get paid to do. So even them just asking you for more takes or doing something differently, they basically have to get you to do that. They could end up using your first take of everything. Don't take it personally. 100% that's correct, right? They have to get you to do multiple takes, even if your first ones are perfect. And again, that's their job. So let them do their job and be confident that they know what they're doing. What you described is how video game sessions normally go. Grabbing only a few takes, getting mostly technical adjustments, and finishing on time are all signs of a great session, where both the director and client are happy. From everything you've said, it sounds like a fantastic session. But this kind of feeling isn't based in logic, and you're not alone. A ton of actors feel imposter syndrome constantly. One thing that helps me with these feelings is knowing that even the most prolific and experienced voice actors have sessions where they just can't seem to pronounce a word right or need a number of takes to get the read down. It literally happens to everyone, no matter who they are. If someone as talented as Matt Mercer needs a ton of takes, then I shouldn't feel bad about needing them too. That's a beautiful explanation. Always remember that your anxious feelings and those annoying voices in your head are not rooted in logic. And so you can't necessarily quell them in logic, but you can have rebuttal points. And this is a very good rebuttal point of, hey, someone who's fucking brilliant and fantastic that I look up to and I think is the best actor in the world needed a billion takes and had to stop the session and had to walk out and had to come back another day, and they still got hired. They're still famous. They're still incredible. They're still wonderful. If they are okay to have that, then I'm okay to have bad days too. It's good to know that is sort of the logical way that a session goes. So it's really nice to have somebody who can tell you, no, that's the bar you should be at, from an outside perspective, and you'll know that for the future. Okay, let's see what other stories we got. This one from Our Voice Acting says, feeling like I should give up. I'm an aspiring teen voice actor. I've gotten a few non-paying roles in indie projects, but I feel like I won't make it in the industry. I know a big thing is to practice, but I don't have access to classes or anything like that, and I feel like I'm lacking in certain areas. I have ugly talking habits that I can't seem to shake, and I can't sound convincingly angry no matter how hard I try without yelling super loud. And even then, it's not great. This has been my dream since I was super little, but I feel like I should quit while I'm ahead. All the online classes seem to be useless or like $500 a pop. I really want to succeed. I just don't know how. Oh, this is a sucky feeling. First of all, remember to love yourself, okay, people? It's gonna be a big episode on remembering to love yourself and telling the anxiety to shut the fuck up. So first and foremost, you're young. And anyone, teenager, like, even if you're fucking old, it absolutely takes time. You do have to practice. That's something people forget. You have to practice in anything. Whether you're doing a sport and you want to be a baseball player, whether you want to be a doctor and you need to practice medicine, it's literally called practice medicine. Whether you're a carpenter and you need to get in a wood shop and practice that skill, acting is a skill. You do have to practice. And there is no, practice for a year and then you get a job. No, that's not how this industry works. These things that you're talking about, like non-paying indie roles, those are practice. Practice in acting consists of every audition and every role you book. It does not matter if they're not paying or volunteer, doesn't matter if it's a class, doesn't matter if it's an audition, doesn't matter if it's 2 words, no words, 1,000 words, or how big the role is or how small. It's all practice. Because what you're doing is you're figuring out how to get your body to start doing these things you want faster. And every role will condition you into that shape. So don't look down on non-paying or indie work. Honestly, indie work is some of the best fucking shit out there. Shout out to all my indie creators and like game developers and writers and animators, etc. Okay, y'all are fantastic. Thank you very much. Now, when we're coming to things like we don't have access to classes or they all seem to be $500, hot take, this is a thing. There are a lot of classes out there that are information you can Google. The difference is you're not Googling that information right now, are you? So the reason why a lot of information you can Google is given to you in a class is because when you have somebody there, whether it's in person and you're talking live, whether it's through articles, whether it's a pre-recorded video, when you have a person saying, hey, here's your vocab words, here's the websites you should use, here's the equipment you should use, here are the classes you should take. Yes, all of that stuff you can Google, but you are 1,000,000 times more likely to pay attention, to learn, and to listen when it's given to you through somebody in like a teacher format. That's how school works. Having a teacher there, guiding you, helping you, even for stuff you can do by yourself, really, really can help hone your skills. They're seeing you from an outside perspective, and they're able to give you tips and tricks and tidbits and lessons and exercises that if you're doing them consistently, you will see results from the very first time you were not doing anything to when you've been doing them for this many years. Now, that said, there are so many teachers that overinflate what they are worth and sell classes at a price that's fucking crazy. And any success stories they have from their classes, it's because what you're paying for is the connection. And then you're good enough that that connection, that name, gets you to somewhere, which gets you to somewhere, which gets you to somewhere, which gets you to somewhere. If 1% of the 99% makes it, that doesn't mean the $10,000 course was worth it. So let's talk about what you should be looking for in a coach or classes. The first thing is make sure that teacher is actively working. If you're able to afford classes with somebody who's doing the type of work you want to do, that's the best way to do it. If you're like, oh, this person voices in a bunch of anime is what I want to voice in, I'm going to get classes with them. Awesome. If they have not been in the industry, active in the industry for a while, their information might not help you as much because they don't necessarily know what the scene actually looks like. They might be awesome and incredible and actively working, but the way that the methods they use for acting and the way that they teach don't work for you. Found that out in college. At least you didn't spend $60,000 doing it, okay? I would say I don't want to give too much of a hard price on it, but I don't know, 75 to 100 for the hour, depending on the name of the person who's teaching you, is about where your ballpark should be. Also, group classes can be really helpful. They can also be scam courses. If it's, oh, we're gonna give you all these resources, you're gonna have access to pre-recorded videos from such and such person that you can use to whatever, that tends to be a scam. If it's, hey, we're gonna have a live session where you pay $50-something and you get to participate in the session, that is valuable. That is worth it. That's a real course. Shout out to Very Berry. They do ADR workshops. Super helpful, really valuable. If you want to do anime dubbing, take their courses. Learn it. You will learn so much. But anything like that is kind of in the ballpark you want to be in. Lastly, when it comes to classes, there are a lot of free classes out there. Community theater is everywhere. A lot of places will host improv nights. A lot of places will host fun adult get-togethers or teenage get-togethers, whatever it is. They'll do summer workshops. They'll do we're bringing in this director from out of town and we're going to talk about plays. We're going to do audition courses, right? Look for the stuff in your community. Also, in this modern day and age, go to Discord groups. Ask questions. See if anybody will help you with very specific things. If you know the annoying mouse sounds that you're making, hop into a Discord server and be like, hey, does anyone else struggle with this? How do you get rid of it? Try their techniques. Now let's read some of the comments. Okay, this comment is upvoted pretty heavily and it seems to be a pretty long one, pretty good one. So let's get into it. You're in the hard part right now. The part where enthusiasm is high, but your skill feels stuck. That's normal. Every working pro I know has been here. This is the part where most people quit, which is why the people who don't eventually stand out. A few things you should know. 1, non-paying roles aren't wasted time. We talked about this. They're training grounds. Every project is a chance to hear yourself back, learn mic technique, try different reads, and fail in a safe space. 2, classes aren't the only path. If $500 workshops are out of reach, don't touch them. Look for free resources, YouTube breakdowns of acting techniques, cold reading challenges, free Discord VO servers that give feedback. Remember, we're talking about these. Even public domain scripts you can record and critique yourself. The skill doesn't come from paying. It comes from consistent, intentional practice. 3, your ugly talking habits can be fixed. This is mechanics, not destiny. Record yourself reading something, play it back, identify one habit, like filler sounds or trailing off, and work on just that one until it's gone. Then move to the next. Number 4, anger without yelling is a skill. Watch actors who play quiet rage. Bryan Cranston, Viola Davis, Giancarlo Esposito. Notice how much of it is in the breath, pacing, and intensity rather than volume. Practice lines in a whisper, but with full emotion. We didn't touch much on this point. If you're struggling with emotion work, highly recommend working on physical movement for when you're performing. It'll really help tie you into those emotions. Number 5, don't confuse slow progress with no progress. You might be improving without feeling it yet. That's because your ear gets better faster than your voice. So you notice all the flaws first. Eventually, your skill catches up. If you quit now, you'll never find out if you were about to cross that invisible line where it starts to click. Stay in the work, but strip away the pressure to make it right now. Your only job for the next year is to get better, not to get famous, not to book gigs, just to level up the craft. And one more thing, I've been in this game for decades, and I've met 0 voice actors who arrived without years of messy, embarrassing, awkward reads behind them. You're in that chapter now. It's exactly where you're supposed to be. Shout out to this commenter, yo. Beige listed. Fire comment, right? Everything they said is valuable. You're always gonna have shitty, awful reads. Trust me, they're gonna be awkward, they're gonna be awful. I am the queen of awful interactions, okay? You cannot beat me, thank you very much. But yes, you are progressing, you are learning, you are growing. Don't worry, you'll get there. And you'll never really get there, you're just always going to be progressing. That's how the body and the mind work. I also really like the idea of making small goals. They'll tell you this when you're trying to do any sort of skill or build any sort of career, is make little goals that you can achieve instead of huge gigantic ones. I actually heard this happening in a lot of like the Pokemon VGC stuff. I don't know, they're cool. Where they'll talk about, don't set your goal as like, I have to make top 8 in this tournament. Set your goal as like, I know that I have a lot of trouble with this matchup. So if my goal is to win every matchup of that team that I face. So the voice acting equivalent might be, instead of, I want to do a paying gig by the end of the year, maybe it's, I really struggle with portraying anger in a believable way. So my goal for the next month is to do anger auditions. And I'm going to record an anger audition right now. I'm going to save it. By the end of the month, I want to have really practiced and improved on portraying anger. And so I'll record my last anger audition of the month as well, and I'll see the progress I've made. And I'm only going to do anger auditions, or I'm going to focus on anger auditions while doing others. And that can be little progress goals. Okay, here's a fun one. This question comes up a lot. Should I invest in a demo reel? I have always had an interest in doing voiceovers, particularly in animation, and I wanted to know if it is worth the investment to purchase coaching for a demo reel. I noticed that I rarely see voiceover actors who put in the work and time to train getting big roles from auditions, and these roles are almost always given to singers and other celebrities. I am based in Canada and want to know if it's worth the investment based on the market here. So I can't speak to the Canadian market. What I can give you advice on is things about demo reels and coaching. I am in a weird camp here. The general and forthright advice is do not produce any kind of demo reel. Do not get it done until you are absolutely positively certain that you are ready to, and your acting quality is there, and your voiceover quality is there, and you're gonna get a perfect, beautiful thing that you can share to everyone. Now, I do agree with that. That's not the part I am fully against, right? Wait to get your demo done until you're confident and other people say you're confident and you're good to go. The part that sometimes is miffy in the wind is you mentioned, is it worth it to put investment to purchase coaching for a demo reel? A lot of people will tell you no. They're like, go take acting classes, go do this or that, like be in community theater, do improv, start auditioning, etc. I do think all of that is super valuable. For me personally, I have learned a lot of it the hard way. I don't do well in learning and training if I don't have a one-on-one professional coach, something guiding me. So I hesitate to tell people not to just go to a coach they like and work with them, because that is how some people learn. It is how some people grow. It is how I advance my skills personally. I went to fucking college for acting, and while it taught me a lot and it did improve my skills and it did, improve what I do and what I know about the industry, it was hell. And I don't think a lot of it was not helpful. I'm gonna be frank, a lot of it was not helpful. And I don't think that classes that involve a bunch of people and regular theater acting and doing all this stuff are always the right path. I don't. I would say try a few free ones to see if it does work for you. But put research and time and effort into finding a coach. Have a few consultations, free little talks with a bunch of different coaches. Do a couple of classes. Do a couple of one-on-one coachings with that coach. Don't sign up for like an entire year, right? Don't take out a loan. Buy like 3 classes from this coach and see if it feels like you are improving and your skills are getting there and you're really working on things. This might sound crazy. I don't think there's an issue with coach hopping. Sometimes you learn a bunch from one person and then you jump to somebody else, you learn things they can teach you, and you jump to somebody else and you learn things they can teach you. Everybody has a different method of teaching. Everybody has something that works. Everybody has a limit that they've taught you all they know, right? Even if you really like someone, you might get to a point where they don't have anything more to teach you and you are really strong in your skills. You don't have to, like, you're not signing a contract away. You know what I mean? You're not gonna break somebody's heart or be blacklisted because you're like, hey, I'm gonna jump over to this coach for a little bit and learn from them, or I'm gonna learn from both of you simultaneously. If you have the extra income to be able to take some one-on-one coaching, I think you should do it. Because what's also gonna happen is you're gonna have a person who is skilled in the industry, booking jobs, who will be able to tell you when you are professionally viable to make a demo reel. And I would state that up front. I'd be like, hey, I want to work on things and work on these characters and get them to a solid point. I want you to tell me when I am ready. I have a solid baseline of characters that I'm doing consistently well. I want you to tell me when you think I'm ready to make a demo reel that will be professionally compatible and competitive. And I would like, a lot of coaches will do this if you ask them, I would like you to be there and coach me while we make the demo reel. Even if you get an outside producer or an outside engineer, a lot of coaches will be there to help you and to be a part of it. Tell them that up front, and then that way they know that at some point they'll give you the go ahead. And you can always check in and ask to be like, hey, how close do you think we are of this? What do we still have to work on? What do we still have to learn? And they can give you running points. The best thing you can do is be as communicative as possible about what you're looking for and what your goals are and how you think you learn best. Get a handle on how you learn. Are you visual? Are you auditory? Do you need repetitions? Do you need logic? What is it? But I'm one of those weird people in this space where I think, because I learn that way, that is an okay method to learning the skill. It doesn't have to be group, public, free classes. So that's the advice I would give, but let's read some comments. Don't get a demo produced until you are ready. It's your calling card and we'll be competing against people who have had training and their coaches say they are ready. Plain, simple, easy, they're correct, right? Don't get a demo produced until you are confident and ideally you've had someone sign off on it. This person says, you get coaching to improve your craft, not to make a demo. A demo is the byproduct of being ready. Yes and no. You do get coaching to improve your craft. That's correct. But I do think you shouldn't just get acting coaching to get acting coaching. I think you should tell your coach, my goal is to get to a point where I am professionally ready to market myself. So I want to get to the point where I can create a demo. And I want your advice on creating the demo. I want you to tell me when you think I'm ready. I want you to help me with what characters should be in there. You know, send me to who you think should the demo created by. Tell me how to send emails, all that kind of stuff. I would mix the two together. This person says, take classes first, see if you like it. If you like it, do more. Make your own stuff or with friends. Have fun. Get good. And then start looking at demos. Yeah, so a lot of these comments are the same, right? It's try acting, try theater, try improv, try classes. Yes, all of that is correct. You should not make your demo. We said this several times. Do not make a demo. Do not put money into it until you know you like what you are doing. And if you've got like a free, play you can be a part of, that's totally fine. I don't think that's indicative of whether or not you will enjoy voice acting or whether or not you will enjoy a different kind of performance. But it will teach you, if you are unaware, that there's a lot more to this skill and to acting than you think there is. Okay, this one is very interesting. It's a trend that's been going around recently, and I think it'll be important to talk about. Let's see. On why it's not necessary to refer to oneself as aspiring, no matter where one is on their VO journey. By me, OP. The act and art of being a voice actor includes many roads being traversed simultaneously. It is the chronic practice of Receptivity? The fuck is that word? Willingness to consider or accept new suggestions and ideas. Or the readiness of a female animal to mate. Okay, all right. We'll keep going. The eavesdropping of accents out in the wild. The attention-getting emotional outburst of someone nearby. It's learning the craft. It's auditioning. It's hunting auditions. It's networking. It's getting the gig. It's not getting the gig. It's getting new equipment. It's troubleshooting. It's taking a break. It's confronting insecurity. It's personal growth. As I see it, it's everything. So whether or not a person is actively engaged in VO, they're passively engaged. This is what makes a voice actor a voice actor. Life. Is a chef not a chef when they sleep? Is a preacher not a preacher when silent? Of course not. We are voice actors, and, as I see it, voice acting is a choice made every day in some way or another. It becomes embedded in our being and guides our thoughts. Once on the path, it's what you are, no matter where you are on the journey. Now, this is very sweet. It's got a lot of beautiful little, wordplay in here, okay? And I think their overall message is correct. You do not need to put aspiring before you say voice actor. The reason I think why people do, there is a big stigma on the industry of performance where if you are not famous, if you are not well known, if you have not worked for a big, well-established company and you get paid like a shit ton of money, then you're not a real actor. You didn't actually succeed. You're not successful. It's not your job. Fuck that noise. I don't know how to say it any clearer. Someone who tours the country doing children's theater is just as much as a real actor as somebody who's on Broadway 8 nights a week. Someone whose job is a character performer at Disney World and you'll never know their name is just as much as an actor as Jennifer Lawrence. Someone who only ever voices indie productions as extra number 600 is just as much of a real actor as the big names in anime. It's a huge stigma in the industry, and it can suck my dick. And you have to get rid of this concept that because you're not there, you're aspiring. Because you only do creative collaborations or fucking Minecraft mods, that you're not a real voice actor. No, honey, you acted. You put the effort in. I don't care if you're in a Danganronpa TikTok or you're in a vertical original movie, that's acting. I don't care if everybody thinks you're garbage or everybody thinks you're godsend to the industry, that's acting. Don't call yourself aspiring. Just call yourself a voice actor, okay? Now let's see what some of the comments have to say. They told us something similar when I went to college for filmmaking. We are filmmakers, not aspiring, not future filmmakers. We are artists because we are drawn to it, and we are each helping to explore what this medium can be. We're all just making it up anyway. That's what art is. 1,000,000%, baby, 1,000,000%. Another person says, couldn't agree more. You don't suddenly become an artist when you have a painting in a gallery. You don't become an actor once you're in a feature-length film, TV show, best-selling audiobook. Are you acting? Congrats, you're an actor. Let's go. When you are 6 years old and your very first play and you're playing the tree with no words, you're an actor. Okay, I literally have little 6-year-old cousins who are voice actors because I put them in an animation. They're voice actors. They're not aspiring. They're voice actors. Okay, respect yourself. And last but not least, somebody says, one of my favorite teachers said, there's no tax for being new. Don't sell yourself short. I love that. Don't sell yourself short, friends. And that is where we're gonna end our Reddit stories, voice acting themed video. Y'all have any questions, feel free to shoot them in the comments. I will answer what I can. Got any ideas for more videos or you want more Reddit stuff, let me know. But for now, that's everything. Goodbye.